So we have this story from the Postmillennial Recession predicted in 2023 for a U.S. economy by economists at major banks. The survey of top economists cites dwindling pandemic savings, a decline in the housing market, and a tightening of lending rules as potential warning signs of an incoming recession. Oh boy. We talked about it a little bit last night, not to mention the new COVID variant, threats of another lockdown. But I want to tell you about the coming recession, and I have a couple stories for you that I think are very important. I was on the phone with the guy. He does charter flights for PJs, and I was asking about the feasibility of costs and things like that. Because private jets aren't expensive as people realize. People think they're like completely out of touch or out of reach, but it's like, it's not as, it is expensive, don't get me wrong, but it's not as expensive as people think. Like, let me just put it this way, it is expensive. But most people assume it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, and it, you can charter a private jet for a couple grand in some circumstances, depending on where you're going. But anyway, I'm talking to this guy because I'm like, if we're going to send a crew of 8 people somewhere for a show and we want to save as much time as possible, let's talk about costs. Here's what he tells me. He says prices are through the roof. The cost has been ridiculous with COVID and everything. And he said one of the clients they have, macroeconomist, told him in the next 60 to 90 days, the market will be cut in half. What does that mean? I have no idea. Honestly, have no idea what that means. It just means the economy is going to do really, really bad. You know what I said to him? My friend, I believe it. And I'll tell you why. In March of 2020, when the lockdowns were starting, even before the lockdowns, revenue on YouTube was cut in half. Maybe that's what it means to see the market cut in half. So I'm looking at the ad rates that we get through YouTube, and I'm like, money's at half of where it normally is. Fortunately, we have good margins, so I was like, we're breaking even this month. But I'm like, if we go down again next month, wow, man, then we're going into the red. That's a scary thought. What had happened was small businesses seeing the lockdown stopped buying ads. Majority of the ad revenue comes from like a mom and pop shop or restaurant in a local area. Same is true for like TV. It's not big buyers like Coca-Cola. This video, think about where you guys may be watching this video. Local restaurant nearby, Jim's Diner. They'll spend $300 in ads and they'll say to Google or Facebook, whoever, only in this area. You then watch that video. That $300 goes to YouTube. YouTube cuts me $200 and something out of that because the ad appears on my channel. When the ad rates dropped, it was because these small businesses were shut down and couldn't advertise. So that hit everybody. Some of these businesses were anticipating a collapse, so they stopped buying. December is the best month of the year for ad revenue. At the end of every year, you get all these big companies. Let's say Coca-Cola has a marketing budget of $50 million. It's probably more than that. They spend $1 million here or there. They come up with campaigns. And then along comes December. Dude walks into the room and says, okay, it's December and we've got $7 million left in the budget. Like that's way more than we normally spend in a month. We got to spend it. If they don't spend it, the company may restrict their budget for next year. They may reduce it. Or it may be because they're like, look, we got to spend this money before the end of the year for tax purposes. December is always the best month. On YouTube, on everywhere, you see a huge spike in revenue. It is bonkers. It did not happen this year. That's scary. Whatever is going on this December, I noticed ad rates were down. And I said, wait a minute, man. It's one thing if ad rates don't move. It's another thing if the ad rates decline at the end of the year when the buyers are dumping their budgets. What is this? And of course, all the news is predicting a major recession. And that's where we're at. So I said, look, we were trying to do shows for the end of the month in December. I said to myself, maybe the issue is we can't. The ad rates are way down. People are canceling on us. Normally, it's like we try and push through the holidays because we know it's a big portion of the revenue for the year. But at this point, we would be struggling to generate half the revenue? I'm like, I need a vacation. No, I don't need one. I necessarily want one. But I got to say, my friends, I do think we are headed for more than just a recession. I think it's funny they're saying recession predicted. Yo, we're in a recession. If they're lying about the recession we're in, what do you think we're actually heading towards? For this charter guy to be like, yo, my Economist client, these are guys worth $25 million plus flying private jets, to say the economy is going to tank. That's a big warning sign. But what's Postmillennial have to say about it? 2/3 of top economists at the United States' largest financial institutions are predicting a recession in 2023, according to a survey conducted by the Wall Street Journal. Primary concerns cited in the survey of 23 primary dealers, including those from Barclays, PLC, Bank of America Corp., TD Securities, and UBS Group AG, were a dwindling of pandemic savings, a decline in the housing market, and a tightening of lending rules as potential warning signs of an incoming recession. The prediction follows a year of soaring inflation, accompanied by rapid interest rate hikes by the Federal Reserve that have risen from nearly zero in March to 4.5% by the year's end. The Federal Reserve reportedly plans to continue its increase to 5%, then 5.5% in 2023. Economists predict that this will force unemployment rates above 5%, resulting in millions of Americans losing their jobs. The central bank doesn't forecast a decline in interest rates until 2024 at the earliest, as it attempts a balancing act of attempting to lower inflation levels without triggering a recession. Excuse me. Inflation began to increase at the beginning of 2022, rising at its fastest pace in 40 years. It currently sits at 3 times the government's preferred rate of 2%. America's savings during the pandemic from decreased spending and government stimulus measures have started to dwindle. As consumers increasingly dig into rising prices of most products, from groceries to gas. Households have also increasingly had to take out lines of credit to afford their lives, as total household borrowing increased by $351 billion between the second and third quarter to a total of $16.51 trillion, the fastest increase in 14 years. The highest interest rates have hit the housing market particularly hard as mortgage rates continue to soar. Home sales plummeted. I got these people selling properties. We're seeing properties pop up all over the place. And, man, they're really, really trying to offload their properties. So we bought a building recently, and I was actually worried. It's very expensive. And, you know, we financed it, obviously. And I'm talking to the lender, and I'm like, do you think it's a good idea to buy a property right now? Because we're gonna get how much, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars on this loan. And then the value of the property is going to tank. And the answer was, yeah, probably. But you'll be fine in the long run. I think that's true. I think you will be fine in the long run. But we got dark days ahead of us. Let me throw it to our good friend Cardi B. Cardi B. Cardi B slams Biden over inflation. Rapper says grocery prices have tripled and is outraged lettuce now costs $7 as she calls on president to put this ish down. Cardi B, 30, slammed anybody that is responsible over the rising costs of living. The rapper posted a video on Twitter claiming lettuce is now up to $7. She argued that something has to be done to help the middle and lower class, especially if she is noticing a dent in her $62 million net worth. $62 million net worth. Despite that, I can respect that she's calling out inflation because she's got family and she knows. While the wealthy rapper does not specifically name the president, she angrily demands anybody that is responsible to bring prices down immediately. Ah, there it is, man. Come on, dude. You just got to come out and say it, okay? This administration has been bad for everybody. The Democrats, their policies have been bad for everybody. Oh, you got breaking news up top. Russia calls for a 36-hour truce. Maybe we'll talk about that. When I go to the effing supermarket, I'm seeing that everything tripled up. That like lettuce was $2 a couple months ago, and now it's like effing $7. Yeah, dude, I see that milk. And I have a big problem. So I do want anybody that's responsible for these effing prices to put the F down. You know what bugs me out? I can respect this. I can respect that she's calling it out, but you're 2 years too late, dude. The people who didn't call this out years ago, the people who supported Biden, the people who voted for him, come on, man. You come out now, I got news for you. And I'm not saying it's Cardi B. With respect, Cardi B speaking out against this is a good thing. It's people don't understand how bad things are really going to get. They think that what they're seeing now is the result of someone in office. Dude, what you're seeing now is the massive spending on Ukraine. What you're seeing now is just the constant ripple effect from the lockdowns. It's going to get worse. All right? You can't just sit idly by, ignoring everything. And then when it gets bad, come out and be like, oh, this is a problem. Someone's got to stop it. This is the challenge. We all saw this coming in 2020. We knew that with Donald Trump, things were good. The economy was going well. We knew that if Biden got in, things would get bad. But so many of these people just hate Donald Trump. Now they're starting to feel it. So what's going to happen next? I don't know, man. 2023 is a primary year. We're going to start seeing the primaries. What is it? We got? Oh, I got a pest control crew coming in. We're going to start seeing things are going to get a lot worse. But with the primary year, it's going to be interesting. The Democrats are going to now be like, the Republicans just took the House, and now they're jamming us up. Oh, that's why it's getting bad. Oh, dude, that's where we go. And because of this, you will not see proper turnabout. The people who pay attention to politics know exactly what's happening and why it's happening. The people who don't are late to the party and vote against their own interests. Then they go and post memes claiming they're on the right side of history when they're consistently on the history of burning things to the ground. Here we go. Some people argue the rapper shouldn't be complaining about inflation since she's a millionaire. But the Grammy winner, who is no stranger to indulging in the finer things in life, including $10,000 Hermès handbags, is that how you pronounce it? Hermès? Quickly addressed the contentious comments and claimed that managing money helps to ensure the longevity of wealth. Let me tell you something. When I be complaining about food and all y'all MFers be like, ain't you rich? Why you complaining about lettuce? Why you complaining about this? That just goes to show me when you become successful, when you have money, you're going to effing go broke soon because y'all not budgeting. Here, Cardi B. Dude, I care about high prices. I care about when we're filling up the gas tank. I care about when we have employees who are going to pick up supplies for the office, and I'm looking at the receipt going like, what is going on, man? Look, we may do well here at Timcast. Cardi B makes a lot of money. But Cardi B did not become rich and successful wasting her money. People who waste their money end up not being rich and famous for very long. She says, I got a summary of the money that is being spent in my home every week. So when I'm starting to see that like groceries is tripling up, it's like, hey, yo, what the F is going on? I want to see for myself what the F is being spent on. The rapper owns a luxurious 20,000 square foot mansion in Atlanta, Georgia with her husband Offset. That's a cool name. The two share two children, Waveset 1 and Culture 4. Waveset and Culture? I dig it. Offset is also the father to sons Jordan, 12, and Cody, 7, and daughter Kaylia Marie from prior relationships. Dude's got kids. Jordan, all right, it's a fine name. But Waveset and Culture, I like better. I like it when people give their kids names that mean something, right? Their $5.8 million dream home has 5 bedrooms with 7 bathrooms and 4.5 bedrooms. The property is complete with an underground shooting range and wine cellar. Yo, what? That is legit. Cardi B, you got an underground shooting range at your house? Dude, I am digging it. Here we go. Spiked grocery prices between November 2021 and 22. Meat and poultry is up 4%, 4.3. Cereal and baked goods, I don't need to know those glutens. Get those out of there. 16.4, don't care. Canned fruit and veggies. Okay, that sucks. But those are also loaded with sugars. I ain't answering that door. Guy's knocking. I ain't doing it. We got milk, 14.7%. We got eggs up 49.1%. Fresh fruit and vegetables, 8%. Cardi B says, nah, grocery shopping prices are ridiculous right now. You might as well eat outside. Yo, what does that mean, eat outside? I don't know what you mean. You might as well eat outside? You mean like eat from your garden? Is that what you're saying? Why lettuce costs $6 where I live at? She's got kids. Yeah, look at that mansion, dude. Cardi B owns a $5.8 million home with her husband Offset in Atlanta, Georgia. Look at that. I'm jealous. Actually, I'm kind of not jealous. Like, what do you do with this room? Look at this. What do you do with a room like that? Honest question. I don't know what I would do with that. All right, what do we got here? Wow, wine cellar. I don't drink alcohol. I don't know what I would do with the wine cellar. Do they got a picture of the shooting range? Can I see the shooting range? No? Oh, man. What is this? Cardi B weighs on escalating situation between Russia and Ukraine. Politics is pop culture, my friends. This is where we are at right now. Politics is pop culture. That's just it. This lady has every reason not to talk about this. But I think she's starting to realize something's going wrong. Ain't something going right. I'm glad to see it. But I'm also kind of perturbed by it, to be completely honest. I'm glad she's bringing up the recession stuff. I'm glad she's talking about high prices. Regular people need to hear this. But she needs to say the name. Biden. She's got to call him out. She's got to call him out. 2023, 2024. We got a primary. We got a presidential election. We need to see in 2024, Republicans win back the Senate, take control of the House, keep control of the House, and Republicans win the executive branch. You want to see your prices come down? That's how you do it. You want to see things generally improve in this country? That's how you do it. And not the establishment Republicans. Nah. You got to vote in people who actually believe in this country. They're extracting from this country. I'll give a shout out to Dylan Ratigan, who said this something like 10 years ago. He said, Democrats are kicking the can down the road and Republicans want to burn the whole thing down. Now it's kind of inverted. Democrats are burning the whole thing down. Republicans are kicking the can down the road. The country is being gutted and destroyed. We cannot just keep going the same as it, we can't just keep it going. Status quo. The usual. Unless it's their plan, man. Unless that's the intention that they have, to watch this country crack. But I'll tell you, if Cardi B speaks out more, if more celebrities start voicing their opinions, then maybe people will actually change their minds. Because otherwise, it's going to get bad. Pandemic spending. You know what it is? It's modern monetary policy. Let's talk about that. What they do is they don't take your tax money so that they can spend it. That's a trick. It's technically the truth, but it's not really how it works. How it works is they make the money, they print the money, quantitative easing, Federal Reserve just dumps the money out. Banks create the money upon the creation of debt. They tax you to control inflation. That's the real issue. They don't need to take the money from your wallet to spend it. They can make the money. They take the money from your wallet because if they spend too much, inflation runs wild and destabilizes the economy. This is why you hear Democrats saying, we got to tax the rich. They're not saying we should take money from the rich and then use that money to fund schools. They're saying we overspent, we overprinted, and now the economy is going to go into hyperinflation. That's why they're hiring 87,000 IRS agents. It's not because they need your money to buy things. It's because they overspent and they need to extract that money from the system. Here's how the game is played. If you went to your bank account, you had $100 in it, and then tomorrow you had $10 in it, you'd be like, yo, where my money at? You'd be pissed off. The IRS knows this. The federal government knows this. So what do? They print the money, spend it. It devalues your buying power, but you open your bank account, you see the $100 and think everything's good. Everything's fine. No, it's not good. It's not fine. They took your buying power from you without you realizing it. That's why Ron Paul was screaming gold, gold, gold. But those days have long since passed. Now it's cultural issues. The economy's been gutted. We've gone off a 9-to-1 reserve system to an infinite reserve system, meaning infinite fractional reserve. Not even fractional, it's infinite reserve, meaning they can just print infinite money. And you're seeing it in the M1 money stock. Let me see if I can pull that one up. Let me show you guys. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The M1 money stock. Here it is. Take a look at this. See this major spike? This was when they converted savings accounts into checking accounts. It increased the money supply 4 times, from 4 trillion to 16 trillion in the span of a month. The money supply increased that much. Then over the next several months, you can see they started increasing the money supply outside of checking accounts to the tune of, what are we looking at? 4 trillion. Only now has it started to go down a bit. Why is the money supply going down? That's interesting. It's because they're ripping it from the system. They spend your money without you realizing it, devaluing your savings, and this is what you get. This insane hockey stick. Look at this, man. Let me see if I can pull this up. Look at that. You go back to 2008 and you can really see it kick off. 2008, you see a bump. It's better off if we do this. You see around 2008, there's like a 2x increase in the printing of money. I wonder why that happened. You go from 1.5 trillion to 4 trillion. Then the pandemic hits. Do you think this will not result in inflation? We've been warning about it. Cardi B, shout out. Thanks for speaking up on this one. I want to add, though, channels like mine and many others were calling this out a long time ago, and we warned this was going to happen. And it's not because I'm some economist. It's because I read the news. So my shout out to Cardi B. Read the news, man. You're seeing it hit you in the face, these prices, and I'm glad someone so prominent is speaking out. Start reading this stuff, and you'll be able to speak out sooner and help this country prevent this before it gets bad for you, for me, and for everybody else. For everybody else, man, I hope you've been paying attention. So I'm going to wrap up this segment with that. We'll grab a couple super chats here as we wrap this up. And then I think I'm just going to leave the stream running. And then but I gotta talk a little bit less. You can see I'm getting a little raspy. What do we got? Sparky says, Cardi B's reward for endorsing Biden was a Paris Hilton-style reality show. Yeah, there you go, I guess, man. The World says right-wing news is alarmist news. 2023 is going to be an economic golden age for the USA. Okay. All right, we'll see, man. $7. We're in 2023. We got $7 lettuce. But you know what? I'll give a shout out. Maybe you're right. One thing we are seeing is that a lot of other countries are desperately trying to buy up dollars to pay off their debts. And if that's true, the dollar is going to skyrocket in buying power. We'll see, man. I'm going to wrap this one up. Smash that like button, subscribe to timcast.com, all that stuff. Hanging out live on the youtube.com/timcast. But I'll wrap this segment up. Thanks for hanging out. And I will see you on the next segment at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/timcast.